paced it very well, though, as we get right in time for the Fan Punch breakdown. And it's Seo Hee Ham week. Are you ready for a former Ryzen Atomweight
They're
champion?
ready. They're ready.
What a great segue, building off of last week's masterclass from Emily Ducote, the strawweight champion of Invicta currently, going to Seo Hee Ham, who is one of the most winningest champions in MMA history among the women. She has more titles than people realize. So let's break down her masterclass now. She had one as well. Get yourselves ready, everybody. Get the popcorn ready. Let's full screen it. Let's dive on in as I adjust my chair, as I always have to do, even though I feel like there hasn't been too much red the last couple weeks, but that's all right. I'll do it anyway. All right. Let me full screen here. Oh, 1 second. All right. Seo Hee Ham's masterclass performance, as I mentioned. Feints are very useful tactical tools that can help anyone in the world if they look like your real strikers. The feints have to look like the real attacks, and real attacks have to look like feints. The key to maximizing feints is actually land real strikes. The point of feints are to trick someone. When a fighter uses sharp feints but doesn't establish any real strikes or telegraphs their straight line blitzes, then they are just pretending to be a technical fighter. The truth is these types of fighters just trick the audience into thinking they have a technical fighting style instead of tricking the opponent. All right, now here we are with the Jin Yu Fry fight. And a head and shoulder feint. Opponent's feint looks sharp. Problem is her attacks look nothing like her feints. Instead of feints, Ham uses the cross arm check from close stance, southpaw versus southpaw. This is not a feint since she sticks out an open hand. This tool is used for hand fights to feel for openings in mid-range. When the opponent declines the hand fight and attacks, it becomes a measuring tool for Ham, to line up her right hand. I know, I'm off right now.
Ham.
The hammed. She's a ham. Ham loves to use this unusual cross check from close stance, southpaw versus southpaw. Ham flashes a cross check, causing her opponent to respond with a telegraphed jab. Slips the telegraphed jab at the same time, prepares her kick by pivoting out her lead leg. Hard outside low kick lands that buckles the opponent's lead leg since all weight was transferred to the lead leg due to the telegraphed jab. Unfortunately, the sequence does not end well visually since Ham's opponent threw a weak since her knee buckled, but well timed straight while Ham was on one foot, causing her to lose balance, the downside of kicks.
That's not good.
Watch Ham's feet compared to her opponent's. Ham is constantly changing position while her opponent keeps readjusting hers. Flashes the cross check to invite an attack down the linear track. A little bit of rhyming there. Opponent falls for Ham's trap hook, line and sinker. Attacks by bringing the lead arm down, huge telegraph, and steps right into Ham's track. Ham sees the attack coming and prepares a counterattack by shifting her weight to her rear foot. Ham's rear foot loads the rear hand. The opponent was so overextended that she had to move her hips back just to correct her balance.
Blast.
Hard cross counter lands, but not at full power since Ham's rear foot hasn't pivoted all the way through. Opponent has been countered twice off the same cross check flasher. One does not need to be a genius to think maybe it's not a good idea to run into Ham's tracks with my telegraph jabs. Here's the quotes again. Opponent for the third time loads her lead hand while attacking on Ham's tracks. Feints are a great tool for strikers, but when attacks look nothing like the feints, they become useless. Still crazy to think that Jin fought in Road FC. Even if it was just for this fight. You love to see it.
For the one.
Cross arm check draws out opponent's predictable attack pattern. Swinging cross check down increases the speed of Ham's pull counter by acting as a counterbalance while her weight has been shifted to the back foot. The opponent looks silly overextending. He said it, not me.
Yeah.
Heel points towards.
Pray.
Yeah, heel points upwards instead of full pivot. Leads to the hard shot to opponent's face, but not at full power yet. Spoiler alert. Ham pushes off the lead foot to switch weight to the back foot to pull away from goofy rear hook. Technical strikers don't attack while out of position like this, especially after just getting countered hard. The thing is, Ham's opponent is not a technical striker. He's getting zesty. Little head bob there from Ham. Another cross check to force a reaction. Insanity is doing something over and over, expecting different results. Albert Einstein quotes Ghost Phantom.
Love that.
Same results. Ham just pulls back while the opponent overextends. Great base by Ham allows her to parry the jab. Linearly, it attacks on Ham's tracks. Excuse me. Track hasn't been working, so opponent decides to attack again on a straight line in order to throw the rear hand to see if it works. Ham sees her opponent's desperate rear hook attempt. Ham's lead foot is pointed towards the midsection, a great position to fire off counter, especially when opponent is out of position. He changed it to midsection this week. It would have been crotch last time. Brilliant outside slip and rear straight counter. Yes, it was. Lead hook misses, but closes door for Ham to exit without getting hit. Ham changes her rhythm by shortening her stance, something you expect from an experienced veteran. Lengthen stance to close distance. By taking a micro step backwards and at the same time lengthening her stance, Ham has created a false distance where her opponent thinks she's in range to attack. This is quite the trap. This might seem meaningless, but this is a high-level maneuver. This maneuver is hard to execute if the fighter has to think about it. It takes real-time experience and training to do this subconsciously. Not even thinking about it. Opponent closes distance on the line of Ham's rear hand while Ham is in a short stance. Lengthen stance to intercept the opponent's face with rear hook.
Oh,
Rear counter lands again.
her feet were so close to each other. I love that.
Hinges hips to duck under the rear hand. This movement places all the weight on the lead foot.
Oh,
Ham rolls back to her opponent's lead shoulder, but is able to mitigate the damage by pushing off her lead foot. Sneaking out of there.
fucking beautiful footwork.
Since nothing is working, the opponent decides to throw a rear body kick to the closed side to see if it works. Take note that the rear body kick to closed side is the easiest kick to catch since it lands on the back, which shortens the distance for the lead arm to overhook. Ham sees the telegraphed kick. Flaccid kick hits the armpit, allowing Ham to simply overhook the leg. Take the kick.
Everybody's favorite word.
Indeed. Rear counter straight
Oh, that's
lands
awesome.
while opponent is on one leg.
I wish she was so off balance.
Yeah. Same shot by Ham and same attack on a straight line. To make matters worse, the blitz looks nothing like her feints.
Too fast.
Ham is not known for her step-up inside low kick since she's a southpaw that fights orthodox opponents open stance. But since both fighters are southpaw close stance, the step-up inside low kick becomes available. Flashes rear overhand. Ham steps up with the rear leg, while the opponent is looking to counter a rear hook that never came with her own rear hook by planting all her weight on the front foot. Hard inside low kick lands while the opponent's rear hook misses completely. Feinting the overhand to inside low kick is a great setup for anyone. The same rear hand counter lands again, but that's not what's important here. Watch the reaction of her coach. No breakdown for the next sequence. Let's just enjoy this highlight reel KO by Ham.
Oh,
And there's a clang.
it's so quick. It happened so fast.
I know. This was a great performance by Ham. She only used 2 looks, the cross hand check throughout the fight, and the change in the rhythm near the end. While minimalist, these looks led to a beautiful knockout.
Yep.
Let's watch that again and really appreciate Ham's brilliance. Why not? Hammer fist at the end, quote unquote, super necessary. Because why not? All the little effects he did. Smash pow. Of all of Ham's performances, where does this one rank? Ghost asks. Is this the best one from a technical standpoint? Or was going toe-to-toe with Hamasaki better since she is just as dangerous as Ham? That is a phenomenal question. Steve, I'm curious, what do you say about that? And what do you guys think about that as well? Steve, what do you say?
I'll answer the last question first. Going toe-to-toe with Hamasaki better since she is just as dangerous as Ham. Yeah, I think so.
All right, there you have it. I mean, that's always, holy shit, we have 36 unchecked comments I can see right there. I cannot wait to read them all. But
Either way.
yeah, whenever I don't know. That's an interesting, it's such an interesting question because of course the better opponent and being able to beat them is always a better thing. But she, in my opinion, like, I think that Hamasaki actually won that trilogy fight. It was very, very close. And yes, she hung in there, did very good, had plenty of great moments. But just from a performance standpoint, I mean, Ham was in no trouble whatsoever there against Jin Yu Fry, who, if we're going to be honest here, I know there was some silly fun talk there from Ghost in that one as well as last week. But Jin Yu Fry, she became the champion right after that fight in Invicta, and she was one of the highest and best atom weights at the time. Yeah, now she's a strawweight in the UFC, of course, but that was around a time where Jin was still very legit.
She was at the top.
Yeah, of course, there's levels to the game, but yeah. So when you look at it that way, performance-wise, I think that one is probably better for Ham because she got the knockout, didn't take really any damage, and in the Hamasaki one, you could argue didn't even win that fight, but of course had great moments as well. But and then before that, he asked, "Is this the best from a technical standpoint?"
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably a lot easier to say for that, yeah. So, but another great breakdown as usual. Ghost Phantom, you just know how to do it. So, all right, let me get to all these. My goodness, everybody on the Ham train. Let's see. What do we got? Central Wing had his popcorn out and ready to go. That was actually before that, I think. No, he was getting it. Yeah, he was anticipating right when we were still talking about Ryzen. All right. Rain loves it. Seo Hee Ham. Jimmy loves her as well. Hamderley. Rain says, Ghost with the new font. Look at this guy paying attention to the fonts. James says, man, Ghost already disappointed in phrase technique. Centro Ghost already pissed. Alvin came back just in time. You'll love to see it. James says, telegraphed. Is Ghost throwing shade again? Yes, he was.
He was.
Rue says, yeah. Rue says, Ham has some underrated footwork. Absolutely. That was great at highlighting that. Rain says, Ham with the blue laser eyes. James with the pow. Shade thrown again. There it is, the shade, says Jimmy. Jin says, geez, Ghost, I thought that Fry was good, but after seeing this, yikes. Oh,
just
man.
one fight.
Just devaluing. Jimmy telegraphed, silly, predictable, throwing shade, goofy. Holy shit, Ghost not happy. Ghost with the spice, says Rue. Ghost with the quotes. Yeah, I know, Albert Einstein. Whoever thought that was going to happen on this show? Not me. Ghost, how would you recommend Frey to get better at striking? And Ghost says, maybe learn how to strike. That's normally a good start. My goodness, this guy. He's turning a new leaf. He's going heel. James says he changed it to midsection. Yes, I noticed that right away. It says Ghost is getting funny with these. Jimmy says lengthen and shortening stance. Gotta try that. Rain says Ham just styling now. He's laughing at the flaccid mention, as is everybody. Jin says Ghost loves flaccid. Calling him out there. Ghost says, I don't know about that. I haven't needed the beeswax or deer antler spray yet. There you go. Man, Ghost is tearing it up with these comments, says Rain. Rue says, Fry's coach said they were preparing for Whaley, Rose, and Joanna after watching this. Probably not a good idea. Well, I mean, she wanted to step in for Rose against Andrade in the rematch. Mr. Beckham here, stopping in quite late, and he knows it. He says, evening, gentlemen, stepping in late. Yeah, we're about to wrap up. Yeah, appreciate you nonetheless. Yeah, go back and watch the replay. Rain says, I agree with the last part. The competition against Ham was way too good. Jin says, I used to think Fry was good. Oh, my. I mean, everyone has off days. Come on now. Jimmy says, we know what pisses Ghost off, throwing meaningless feints. Yeah, that is for sure. Alvin says again, Mr. Phantom, Fry was doing her best. No need for that type of language. I love you, Alvin, so much. Thank you. Get these guys under control, would you? I need to make Alvin a mod now. Then everybody would be banned. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you're all done. You're all done for.
My, oh my. What a doozy that was, though. They're always doozies, so that was good. Seo Hee Ham, can't go wrong. Can't wait to see her again. In some ridiculousness, though. Zamboanga rematch, we would assume. We'll see when that comes. But until then, we have plenty of great fights this weekend.
Mid.
Come on now. I'm excited for most of the stuff overseas, but I can't wait to see Jessie back. Adore her dearly. And yeah, it is what it is. And Randa, that's some of my gals fighting.
Is this the Victoria and Costa fight card?
Yes, it is.
Oh, God.
I knew you were going to say something. But all right, with that in mind, I'm sad. I cannot believe Derrick Henry beat me in fantasy, Steve.
I lost by 1 point.
I lost by like 6. I was up 150 to 121, and he was the only guy left, and he beat me now. So I'm very upset.
1 point.
I'm very upset.
There it is. Look at it. It's
oh my God.
1.6.
Oh, that's terrible.
I was winning.
That is terrible.
And then
Same. So was I.
Stephon Diggs gave me 23 points, but it wasn't enough.
Brutal. Now we can go cry in shame. But before we leave, James asks, is Fry really that good without ghost comments influencing me? No, they didn't influence me for her career. She was definitely talented. And yes, I think she should have lost that first Mina fight for sure. But I mean, nobody's saying she's as good as Hamasaki and Jin. But I will remind you here's a thing for you guys. You can go rewatch the Jin rematch. Not the first fight, because the first fight was an interesting one. Well, even I remember there was a narrative that was made that Jin was on her way to winning that fight, the first fight, until she got cut. But that I don't think was the case. In the second fight, though, if Ryzen was scored round by round, Jin would have beat Hamasaki in the rematch, just so you know. But that's not how it's scored. So Hamasaki dominated her in the third, got the win because she is a genius. Yes, Fry is not as bad as she may have looked against Ham, just so you know.
She might not have had a great UFC career either.
She's on a winning streak right now, Steve. We're not done yet. For now.
Yeah, I think it's coming.
Give me that Penne fight, damn it.